One of the most recent examples of a PR disaster is the recent coverage that has been based entirely around the Fyre Festival. Now, the Fyre Festival, if you haven't heard about this, is a festival that was due to take place on an uninhabited island in the Bahamas with tickets costing upwards of $10,000 plus. It was a festival for the super wealthy and it promised a luxury experience, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Obviously, expectations for the festival were very high. The clientele were expecting gourmet meals, they were expecting fantastic accommodation, and overall, just an unbelievable experience. To say that it didn't live up to expectations would probably be an understatement. When festival goers arrived, they were greeted with complete chaos, disorganization. There was no accommodation. The accommodation that was there looked like refugee tents, and the gourmet meals that were promised were polystyrene lunchboxes with fries and kind of odd-looking salad. Immediately, obviously, this was spread on social media. The organisers were actually telling people not to turn up just 2 or 3 hours before the festival was due to start. Now, obviously, people had already bought tickets. They'd already either arrived or were en route. Basically, it was a complete shambles. Now, the organisers themselves started trying to cover their tracks. They started deleting social media posts and trying to backtrack. And overall, this created even more resentment. The Fyre Festival was trending all over social media with images and tweets and basically frontline footage of exactly what was going on. So needless to say, the organisers couldn't really defend themselves because the festival goers were actually there on site with first-hand knowledge of what was going on. This takes us to a few lessons that we can learn from a PR perspective about what this means not just for festival organisers or event organisers, but brands in general. The number one tip that we can actually take from this Fyre Festival is don't promise anything that you can't deliver. The biggest anger that came from this is because the expectations were so high. With people paying $10,000 plus, their expectations were very high, and they quite rightly expected to receive what was promised, and that was high quality accommodation, high quality food, and a well-organised festival. The reality did not live up to their expectation. So the number one tip that any person in PR or marketing can take from this Fyre Festival is do not promise anything that you don't have an absolute certainty that you can deliver. Secondly, if for whatever reason you can't deliver what's been promised, then take responsibility and do whatever it takes to fix the problem incredibly quickly. In a world of social media, of Facebook Live, of constant, 24-hour news, if something goes wrong, people are going to find out about it. Now, trying to delete posts and tweets and trying to cover your tracks doesn't work. If you've made a mistake, if you can't deliver what's been promised, accept responsibility and communicate very directly and quickly how this can be fixed. Now, it seemed like the only person that was making any effort to take responsibility for this festival wasn't even the organizer. It was the rapper Ja Rule had some alignment with this, and he was saying that he's going to try and take responsibility because no one else would. And I would say he's one of the very few people that actually came across like he was trying to do anything about it, whereas the organisers themselves seemed like they were burying their head in the sands, hoping it would go away. That's an unrealistic strategy in today's fast-paced media world. The third tip is really to plan. One of the key things about this is that it looked like there was insufficient planning in place to make sure that this festival was going to be a success. And the level of disorganisation created the PR disaster that followed. So whatever you're planning, whether it's a PR campaign, a marketing campaign, an event, make sure that you have the resources, including time, necessary to make sure that whatever you're doing is going to be a success. And the other thing that you absolutely need is people that are comfortable communicating with the media in advance. They need to be media trained, they need to have certain key information that they're briefed on as to what they're going to say. And if a crisis does hit, make sure these people are consistent and that they take responsibility and they communicate very clearly what they're going to do to try and rectify it. And don't be afraid of saying sorry if you have made a mistake, because while people will tolerate that people make mistakes, people have a very low toleration for people that look like they're trying to avoid taking responsibility. So have your experts, have your spokespeople, have your ambassadors well briefed, and make sure that if something does happen, whether it's positive or negative, they're ready, willing and able to communicate about that. We as the Relations Group are a cluster of broadcast PR specialists, and we help brands consistently to help plan PR campaigns well in advance. So if you would like free consultation or any kind of additional information on how we can help you secure radio, TV, online coverage, get in contact by any of the channels or website details below.